Good morning and welcome to my individual presentation on a behavior management strategy and framework. In this presentation, I will briefly address the behavior management strategy and framework my group had chosen in Part A, provide context into what this may look like in a secondary classroom, identify and explain the role of rules and routines, and outline how these would be explicitly taught, modeled, and reinforced with students. I will then connect how the framework my group chose supports consistency across the school and discuss how it aligns with my professional responsibilities and role in maintaining a positive learning culture. Our group chose positive reinforcement of rules and expectations as the classroom management strategy and connected that to the Positive Behaviour for Learning or PBL framework. In a secondary classroom, there are ways to apply this strategy. Bill Rogers suggests that a classroom agreement of rules and expectations should be established early and collaboratively. Collaboratively deciding upon the classroom rules and expectations can help teachers understand their students' understanding of behavior and learning. From here, rules and expectations can be reinforced with short reminders of the expected behavior before the behavior occurs. When unwanted behavior does occur, a teacher can give a short reminder of the expected behavior, allow time and space for the student to action the correction, and positively acknowledge with a simple thanks when the expectation is met. The simple positive acknowledgement without debate keeps focus on the primary behavior without causing unnecessary attention to the student. Teachers can use visual reminders in the form of posters that outline the classroom rules and expectations to support verbal and non-verbal reminders. The New South Wales Government suggests the ways students behave can be influenced by characteristics such as family, peers, age, personality, mental, and physical health. At this age in secondary schools, student group dynamics may influence student behavior in class, and students may believe they should act a certain way to fit in among their peers. Teachers should be aware of their students' individual characteristics to help them learn optimally. In a secondary school where students are changing lessons every hour or hour and 45 minutes, rules and routines support students to be ready to engage in their learning. Clear, consistent rules and routines ensure students are able to demonstrate what is expected of them, even when the content changes. This sense of predictability of routines contributes to positive relationships and learning. Rules and routines that have been decided collaboratively between my future students and I will be based on the school community values and reflect the aims of the whole school policy on behaviour to create effective and appropriate learning environments. When teaching and establishing the rules to use in a safe and positive learning environment, there are steps I take in a future classroom. Firstly, I'd introduce and explain each rule and display them where they're easily accessible. Thinking back to visual reminders, even in a secondary classroom, colourful posters can benefit students. Then, check and develop students' understanding of what the rules should and should not look like and sound like through discussion and modelling and practice. In this future classroom of mine, I'd monitor students and reinforce the rules consistently and fairly by reminding the students and practicing the rules when necessary. There are proactive, relational, and instructional behavior techniques to use to manage behavior. Proactive strategies may include the use of rules and expectations that clearly set out behavioral expectations that can stop the escalation of unwanted behavior. Bill Rogers suggests focusing on primary behaviors and tactically ignoring secondary behaviors, ignoring and or praising the behavior rather than the student when rules are followed to support the student's intrinsic motivation to repeat the behavior. Relational strategies may include compassionate, trauma informed teaching to understand how early childhood experiences can determine an adolescent's behavior and decision making. Teachers can communicate privately, use eye contact, communicate with a positive tone, use friendly gestures, a high five, or a fist bump, and learn and use student names. Bill Rogers suggests following up with a student who may have misbehaved during class at a later time, the same day or during the week, at a secondary level, to resolve any lingering issues or feelings. These behaviors can build warm relationships and communication, promote participation, clarify boundaries, rules, and expectations, and support young people's needs and emotions to create a feeling of safety within young people. An instructional strategy Bill Rogers suggests is to use directive choice, as it enables students to have responsibility and accountability over their actions to make the correct choice. Rule reminders can be used to correct low level, disengaged, or disruptive behavior in calm and consistent ways. A teacher may observe a behavior, remind the student of the rule or expectation, allow time for the student to correct their action, and praise when corrected. This praise should describe the specific behavior correction rather than be a general statement of good job. Behaviors, routines, and rules that have been established collaboratively should continue to be modeled by the teacher to promote desired classroom behaviors. Feedback, similar to mentioned before, should describe noteworthy student behavior to reinforce the expectation. When feedback is given related to student achievement, the praise should be related to the effort and accomplishment, not just the ability. Feedback and praise statements that only highlight the ability may reduce a student's interest in working harder. Finally, the delivery method of praise or feedback should match the student preferences. The Positive Behaviour for Learning (PBL) framework supports consistency across the secondary school by identifying areas classrooms, library, ovals, canteen where positive behaviours can be acknowledged and rewarded by multiple teachers. PBL starts with schools developing a school-wide system for teaching behaviour expectations to students. Teachers may identify 3 to 5 positive school-wide behaviour expectations that are then defined and described and outlined when and where they should be used, including what each expectation looks and sounds like. The PBL framework shows that inappropriate behavior is a behavioral error, and students are provided with support to learn more about appropriate behaviors. Consistency is ensured in a school that uses the PBL framework as teachers define, teach, reteach, and model the expected behaviors, and students are provided with regular opportunities to practice the expected behaviors in the settings in which they will be used. The PBL framework aligns with my professional responsibilities and role in maintaining a positive learning culture for multiple reasons. I can create a positive learning culture by identifying student needs and discuss with colleagues when other teaching approaches need to be taken for a student's behavioral and learning needs. I can use the PBL framework when creating a positive learning environment by modeling the behavior expectations, set clear expectations of what appropriate behavior looks and sounds like, correct inappropriate behavior, and acknowledge when a student has displayed the correct behavior. Thank you for watching this presentation.